Welcome to Synchronicity. We're settling into this weekly pattern. Guess what? If you are a patron, there's shit going on over there. I released the fucking bonus thingy and this, that, and the other thing. Also, if you really like tuning in on Instagram and Twitter, I did a YouTube thing for everyone this week too, mainly around Mercury Retrograde, but just rest assured I'm still talking about it here. We're going to go into all that stuff. But if you wanted your questions answered in real time, tune the fuck in. What are you doing with your life? Come on, guys. All right, let's get into this episode. I know I say this almost every single solo cast. I'm like, this is going to be a short one, and then it ends up being like 45 to 55 minutes. But this time, I really feel like we're going to condense a lot of wisdom. And wisdom, did I just say I'm going to put, still dealing with the fact that these, what do we call them, downloads. I heard Jessa talk about something Ramin spoke about, which was that, how you used to download things and then you had to burn them to a CD to listen to them. And then you had to, you just downloaded them to iTunes and now it's just streaming. Now we're just streaming consciousness. We're just streaming source. So if you're into that, it's pretty great. Notice how the word stream is there and it has to do with water, has to do with 5-dimensional consciousness, has to do with psychic waters, has to do with all the fun shit in the world. Are you with me? It's going to be a crazy episode. All right, let's do this shit. We have some questions. I guess we have one question that we'll go into. I'm trying to gate those and save them for, longer episodes, but one did come in that I'm going to address. We'll do some Mercury retrograde stuff. This has been a really, really great opportunity. I know Mercury retrograde is kind of like it's like, what the fuck? It's like trying to do planning and logistical stuff is kind of a nightmare, and traveling can be kind of a pain, and, getting shit done at like the DMV or getting your car serviced, unexpected things, and just a little more work. Electronics can get funky. But now that we're in the shadow phase here it's leap year too, right? We're February 29th. Of course 2020 is a fucking leap year, right? It's fucking quantum leap year. It's fucking crazy, of course. So yeah, we're in this weird spot right now. We're in the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde, which is I think a lot of people take these names of these things so ominously. And this is where I guess I break a little bit from my astrologer friends, and not too passionately, not too emotionally, but I tend not to get caught up in this stuff because I've seen a very harmonious and fun and advantageous aspect of this retrograde, which is all these old patterns are coming up for us to be able to review, acknowledge, and then let go or transcend if we want to. So that's fucking great. Now, the way we transcend these, and I've been talking about this acutely, and I'll continue to talk about it for this year, is to not react. Okay. A lot of people talk about detachment. That's wrong. We talk people non-attachment. That's the Buddhist term. That's closer, but non-reaction is what we're looking for. And that may rub some people the wrong way. Go, well, if someone does something wrong, of course I should react. Okay. Well, why don't you not react and maybe just take a second to respond? Because a response is something that is something you've processed. And even if it's a very quick decision, there's still some decisive action there rather than just hair triggering fucking going off the handle of fucking reaction. So if these patterns are coming up, this is a clear opportunity for you to transcend them. And again, we don't want to fight with the situations in our lives, the circumstances, our emotions. We allow them, and then we can love them if we can get to that point. But the main thing is just don't react. Take a nap, go for a jog, do something else rather than dwell in the state of suffering and watch what happens. It releases. Some people may think this is passive. It may be perceived as kind of cheating or weak or whatever. It's not. It's just how shit works. Things can be easy if you want them to be. The idea that millions and trillions of lifetimes of suffering have to be overcome with millions and trillions of lifetimes of non-suffering, that doesn't make any sense. It can flip on a fucking pin. It's like you can make it effortless. I know that sounds crazy, but you'll see it. You'll see it soon. Let's just go into the group imagining. I'm all over the place this episode, so just fucking deal with it. Group imagining. This week, you're going to notice something that you broke free. You're going to be like, oh shit, here's this thing that used to fuck my life up. It was a pattern. I used to be this way. Whatever it is, it could be in relationships. It could be with jobs. It could be with family. It could be with money. And you're going to see, you're going to look back. This is the feeling you're going to be imagining, looking back and going, holy shit. Not only did I not react, I fucking handled that like a champ. And that's what's going to happen this week. Whenever you hear this, no matter what it is. Let's talk a little bit about blame, guys. This is coming up a lot. I'm hearing people, we're in Capricorn season, so a lot of people's insecurities and fears are right there underneath the surface. And when they come out, what this looks like sometimes is we blame other people around us. Don't do it. Everyone is you pushed out, right? So if you're blaming and judging other people, guess what you're doing? Oh no, you're blaming and judging yourself, especially if you have a very strong imagination. You may be binding someone to that conception, your conception of who they are. Then you're the dick. Sorry, you're the dick at that point. So you really want to make sure that you don't judge other people. I know we can see other people, aka you pushed out, doing fucked up things. I'm not saying don't lose your ability to be discerning. Don't lose your ability to fucking, tell when someone's being a shithead. Stop holding them to that. You're binding them to that. Chances are, if you're listening to this in 2020, you're early on the train of hearing imagination creates reality and actually like fully processing that and using it as a practical tool in your life, right? Means your imagination is pretty strong. We're on this co-frequency here of like, shit is amazing. Let's fucking do this stuff. You're probably, I don't want to fucking gas too many of you up, but you're probably like, I don't want to say more advanced. You're probably just a little farther up the spiral of ascension, which sounds amazing, but also comes with so much more responsibility. So if you feel like you're one of those people who is ascending quickly and you're seeing the objective proof and you're proving to yourself that you're God and everything is you, don't go judging people. Don't go blaming people. Don't go, they're this way. They're doing this because they're that type of person. You're doing it for them. It's like a god of everything saying, creating like some horrible fucking monster and being like, oh, look at this monster. It's so bad. I hate it. It's like, you did it. You fucking did it. So don't blame other people. I see this a lot. This also comes up in group context. One thing you will find about me, I hear Jessa talking about this a lot for herself, and this gets more challenging as you build a community of people around you, and I've luckily done that for other people and myself and have seen kind of the pitfalls and pros of everything. Group mind, group think, hive think, right? Hive mind. If everyone's kind of operating in the same frequency, that's great. But when there's a dissenting voice or someone who has something else, if the group ethos isn't strong enough to accommodate that, if the tenets aren't truth above all else, honesty above all else, unconditional acceptance above all else, then that shit is doomed to fail. It will fail because in duality, those are the only things that can actually serve as supports, right? Like unconditional love, forgiveness, and acceptance. If you're going to build anything and you build those as your kind of tri-pillar foundational thing, you're good. Anything else, it will be people playing out their own unprocessed energy through that group. And this looks like a lot of different things. And let me use myself as an example because I know people are digging this now when I say how fucked up I am. You've probably heard, if you're a longtime listener of this podcast, you've heard divisions I've had with people professionally in the spiritual community. I now look back on those situations and release every single person I judged or blamed completely because I recognized I was running the show. I ran this crazy fucking pattern of all these things. I believe certain people were shitheads. I believe they were going to act like that. Now, did I create every single angle of the situation? No, shit came out of left field. There's some weird stuff. There's some people who, just using my power of discernment, have work to do. But I definitely perpetuated the situation. And I definitely was a co-creator of the situation to teach me things, ultimately, which is don't blame other people. So I'm not saying you may find yourself in a community of people who are on this wavelength and then something gets gnarly or you see someone act in kind of an objectively fucked up way. That's a test for you. It's not a test to just accept it, just to be clear, but it's a test for you to understand what energy is being played out through your conception and perception of the situation and the people involved. What are you supposed to be learning there? What are you supposed to be learning? Is it boundaries? Is it acceptance? Is it freedom? There's a lot of things, but if you start looking at it like that, rather than blaming people for objectively bad behavior, you're freeing yourself and you're freeing them. And that's really important, because I know we get in these situations where we can just see people doing not good things, but try to think of them like your kids. Try to think of them as like children who aren't malicious, fucked up people, even if they're actually acting with malice, but like they just didn't know they didn't have to act like that. That's all. If everyone knew that their imagination created reality, like knew it on a deep level and had faith in it, a lot of people wouldn't act the way they're acting. If I knew, or other people knew, and let's just say, if the thief knew that he didn't have to go and steal and rob another of what's theirs to get what he needed, he wouldn't do it, or she wouldn't do it. That's just a fact. So I know this cuts against some of this. There is a function of suffering too. I just want to get into this. Suffering is a beautiful thing. It allows us to experience the whole spectrum of emotions, positive and negative, and it's certainly on what we would consider typically the negative side, but it's a beautiful thing. It helps create art. It helps create depth. It's amazing, but our relationship to it is up to us. How much we want to experience, when we want to experience it, how it fits into our lives. I dare to say, if we want to experience it at a certain point, and you can say, well, what do you mean? You're going to die. People around you are going to die. Isn't that suffering? Isn't that what the Buddha said too? That was one of the 4, people are going to die, and that helped him realize, yes, of course. But then you're free from your reaction to that. And let's talk about death here, because the fucking coronavirus is freaking the fuck out of people. Guys, chill out with this shit, for real. It's not a big deal. It's just a regular old fear campaign. I'm not saying people aren't dying, but just chill out. It's good. You can't be affected. I want to talk about some health stuff. I've been around sick children. I've been around sick people recently. Your frequency of health, if you know you are healthy, if you are a paragon of health, you will be a paragon of health. If you know by your frequency you can heal people around you, this is where I'm getting real fucking weird, guys. Getting real weird. You heal other people. I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen with my family. I've seen it happen with people not in my family, and I've seen it happen to people I don't even know. Okay. It's a fact. Don't worry about the coronavirus. You're good. It is just something that is being pushed through the fucking consciousness because people are waking the fuck up. And I want to talk about the term waking up. It's inaccurate. No one is waking up. We were never asleep. What happened is we've had amnesia. We've forgotten things. And you could say, oh, well, this is really the same thing. No, it's not. You will see that remembering something is very different from the process of waking up in the morning. Sure, you may remember this world when you wake up in the morning, but really what's going on is you're just kind of finding yourself in this new dimension. When you forget, when you come out of your amnesia, shit will start funneling in and you'll be like, oh, I remember this. I remember that. I remember this. And it may not feel like even remembering, just all of a sudden you'll know a bunch of shit. So just know that as you incarnate into this body as a spirit, if you learned your lessons and come back and laid out a wonderful path for yourself, then you're going to be on a fast track. But if you had to learn some lessons, you learn those lessons and then you remember. But once you remember, once you come out of this amnesia, just fucking hold the vibe, man. Hold the fucking vibe and be the version of you that you know you are. You're omnipotent. You're everything, truthfully. And as you understand that, you can start beaming it out to other people. Now, let's talk about this question because I think it fits in right here. Gosh, I am just rambling on. I didn't even have most of this written down. Okay. The question of the week here is, I practice these imaginal techniques intently, but sometimes I do fall off track. All good. And do you really? Probably not. Typically, if I do fall off track, it'll be when I'm dealing with a situation where I get extremely emotional. For example, last week I was dealing with something related to a custody situation with my son. After a difficult conversation with my ex, I was getting into my vehicle. As I was entering my vehicle, I started casting a negative visualization about my future with my son. But right as I was spinning this visualization up, I hit my knee so hard on the interior of the car that it knocked me out of the visualization. And I immediately realized that my higher self may have literally injured me in order to stop me from repeating past karma. My question is, do you think this is possible that my higher self would intervene this way? And if so, could you elaborate on what may be going on here? Okay, let's talk about higher self and you as you know you. Same thing, okay? You may be in tune with this version of you that doesn't have a body. This is what we're doing all of the time. And when you make a commitment to yourself to not fuck your shit up, yes, it'll look like sometimes you physically do something to remind yourself, or maybe you get in an accident. Now, you could look at like hitting your knee without that perspective, it was just an inconvenient, clumsy thing that you did. Just like you could look at a car accident as a devastating mistake, but it could just be an indication that you're not on the right track. It's trying to just put you in. I think of it like duck pin bowling. They have these rails on the side of the bowling alley so you can't like gutter it. That's kind of what you're doing here when you accept yourself as the creator of everything in your life. You basically put up these rails and you can have them contain whatever experience you want. If you want an experience where you don't fuck your shit up that bad or you don't fuck it up at all, then those rails go up and you're in that space. Now, the beautiful thing here is if this sounds too binding or too constrictive to people, you can tear down those fucking rails. It's no big deal. Tear down those walls, right? I don't even know what that is. Why am I saying that? Jesus Christ. Anyway, the point is this is it was it Reagan who tear down? Anyway, whatever. I'm fucking crazy. The point of it is this is you set the fucking goals. Higher dimensionally is your imagination. That's your higher self. If you have a version of you in your imagination, a perfect version or a person you would like to be, that's your higher self. That person literally exists. They're coming back. They're revealing themselves to you through your imagination. And they're saying, hey, I'm fucking cool. You're going to love being me. Now let's be me. And if you just accept that, watch what happens into your life. So yes, that is your higher self. People call these angels. They call them guides. They call them aliens. They call them whatever you want to call them. It's you. It's always you. Use the narratives that best serve you. If you want to call them aliens, if you want to call them guides, if you want to call them gods, you want to call them archetypal energies, be my fucking guest. Just recognize everything in duality is a narrative. We believe it and it's stable because we believe it, or rather it's real because we believe it and other people believe it. When you understand that, you can start doing what you kind of want to do. And when I say kinda, just fucking do this shit. Well, let's get into the tweets because this is all covered there. Excuse me. Fucking what the fuck? And I feel like this week energetically, I don't know what your specific experience has been. It's been a lot lighter for me. It's been a lot more harmonious. I think as I have accepted some of these Capricornian vibes and Piscean fucking Piscean vibes as well, emotional fear-based stuff. It's pretty fucking sweet. Also, I recorded an amazing episode with Tess about mezcal. So there's some fucking hot shit episodes coming out, guys, for the podcast. That's all I can say with guests. Okay, let's go in the tweets. This is explainer what this is on Twitter. I tweet stuff that no one knows what it means, and I have to actually explain it on the podcast. Why people follow me on Twitter, I have no idea. I'm fucking insane. It's like a weird self-journal, fucking metaphysical, who knows. Anyway, tweets. Do what you want to do because you're meant to do it. Do you understand that? You want to do shit because you're meant to do it. It doesn't mean what you're meant to do for the rest of your life. You may want to do something and then feel bad afterwards about it. That's to teach you a lesson, but usually that's not the case. Do what you want to do because you're meant to do it. This also implies a certain degree of trust. For you to actually act on that requires you to trust yourself. You can still act on it without trusting yourself, but you will see the results. All right. Wake up in a world of harmony. Again, this means you sleep in peace and wake in joy. Right before you go to sleep, go, I'm going to sleep in peace. Right when you wake up, go, I'm waking in joy. It may sound stupid. It may seem fucking Stuart Smalley self-affirmation bullshit. Just try it. Okay. Be grateful for the ebbs and the flows. Now, let me be clear what this doesn't mean. This doesn't mean be grateful for the bad and the good. Ebb is not bad. Flow is not good. There are aspects of both that together, when put together, are perfect. Ebbs are wonderful when the waves are going out and you see more of the beach and you have that ground to stand on. Beautiful. When it's flowing in and the tide's coming up and there's this beautiful fucking ocean and waves, that's also beautiful. Just be grateful for both of them and you'll have the proper relationship for everything that pops up in your life. It's pretty good. All of my friends are gods. All right. This is what I'm realizing. They're all like literal cosmic gods. Okay. This is true for everyone, but when you fully recognize that, watch what happens with your friends. It's the best. I learned a very important lesson the previous week, which is if you have an instrument that you love, if you have some, don't ever leave it behind. My guitar, I left her behind when I went to Brooklyn. It was a grievous mistake, one that I shall not repeat ever again. I love it. I love her. She's so good. All right. We're building worlds, entire worlds and universes from ashes. right? It's like Phoenix 101. We're fucking building shit from the fire. Rise from the ashes of you will burn up all your shit and then create an entire new world from that. That's pretty fucking cool. And when you're killed and when you die and when you lose yourself, you come back twice as strong at least. I fucking promise you. So that's pretty cool. If you're killing yourself, if you're fucking psychically murking aspects of yourself, just know you come back so fucking strong. It's the best. I already spoke about. It's not waking up. It's remembering who you are. Already did that. Here's a Neville Goddard thing. Never entertain a feeling which does not contribute to your happiness, for feelings are the cause of the actions and circumstances of your life. This may sound insane to someone. Well, why? Why would I only focus on my happiness? Don't I want to experience suffering? Sure, if that's what you want. But when you focus on something like happiness or fulfillment or love or joy, you recognize you can actually bring those things into your life. All I'm proposing is that everything is optional. That's it, that you have a choice in terms of how you want to feel, which then structures your reality. If you're the type of person who wants to have a dark, bleak existence, be my fucking guest. No judgment. All right. There are people out there like getting their balls stomped on. That's not for me. But if someone fucking loves that and that gets their rocks off, by all means, get your fucking balls stomped on. I don't like that. All right. I like fun things and cool things. And I won't talk about my sexual preferences. Talking about whatever you're into, that's cool. Just know that it's optional. If you're the person who's like, well, it doesn't sound right that I could just focus on happiness and my life would be good. Well, okay, if that's not what you want, great. But if it's just because it doesn't sound right, that's dumb. If it sounds like trauma has to be this big fucking deal all of the time, I'm not denying your experience of that. Just try to flip it and see what happens. That's why people like LSD and other psychedelics. Anyway. It's another Neville Goddard thing. Live your life in a sublime spirit of confidence and determination. Disregard appearances, conditions, in fact, all evidence of your senses that deny the fulfillment of your desire. Rest in the assumption that you are already that what you want to be. Okay. Again, for some people, this feels like just wrong, bad, cheap tricks. No, can't be. I have to do. I'm telling you, this is how it works. Your confidence and determination, knowing that what you picture in your imagination, what you feel in your heart of hearts is the only creative power in the world. That is your test. Should you choose to take it, and you will pass as you do it. It's not a test that anyone ultimately fails. Everyone passes the test, but you have to take it in order to pass it, right? If you don't take it, then you're not going to understand I'm just going to sound like a crazy person. Actually, I probably sound pretty cool. I understand this sounds great when someone fully gets it, but it's not ever going to be the thing that makes you realize it, right? It'll be something that maybe leads you there, but when you start fucking living in that sublime spirit of confidence and determination, oh boy, watch the fuck out. 2020 is a leap year. I already spoke about this. Have you realized this world is your dream yet? Literally your dream. This is what this world is. It's your dream. Don't make it a nightmare unless you like that. Make it a beautiful, magical, wonderful, oh my God, everything's perfect again. How does this keep happening? So weird. Why is this? What? Live in wonder, live in joy. Why, if you listen to this, you're like, no, I want to be upset. By all means, I just want to be clear about this. This is where I differ from a lot of just like what people would deem love and lighters. Do the shadow work. Go into the dark shit. I think if anyone starts to pin me down as an exclusive love and lighter, which yes, let's say I would fucking lean that way. I'll show you. You'll see. I'm not revealing aspects of myself to freak anyone else or to show that look how cool, I got a dark side. Nah, man, but we all have that shit and we need to deal with it. If you don't deal with it and accept it, it will run your life and you'll be out there, one of these people saying, I have it all figured out. Love and light, namaste, peace. And people will look at you and go, oh, this fucking person. And again, people out there, it's your own internal doubt. So it's not like they're even doing anything to you. It's not like you should listen to other people if that's how you feel. But trust me, you're going to want to plunge into your shadows. I like how this was a tweet about, have you realized this world is your dream? And I'm talking about shadows clearly on people's minds. Another thing that's been coming up in readings, back to the judgment and blame. it's just fucking your shit up. The easiest way to get out of a situation where you're trapped in another's actions is just imagine them happy, fulfilled, and at peace. And if that's hard, rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it until it feels like a natural process for you. And then you're free. You freed them and you freed yourself. Okay. As you hack and transcend your issues, your personal individual issues related to anything, right? For me, jealousy, insecurity, doubt, those types of things with money. But as you work through them for yourself, for real, and you heal them and you transcend them, you're doing that for everyone at the collective. That's fun as shit. Listen, if you're the type of person who wants some extra motivation, there's some. That's a fucking badass thing to do. It's really cool that as you really work through your shit, you're doing it for everyone else. Like that, I mean, come on. That's good shit. All right, what else do we got here? Did I just fucking nail this? Oh, okay, the waterfall technique. Here's what we're going to imagine. Someone pointed this out in the Mercury Retrograde YouTube thing we did this week. Here's the technique. I'm gonna make it my own. It was a Neville Goddard thing. You're going to imagine yourself as a waterfall, as a loving, beautiful, crystalline, sweet, soft waterfall. It can be loud, it can be anything, but this is how you're going to imagine yourself. And below you is going to be a garden. And you have planted all of these wonderful things, fruits and vegetables and herbs and trees and flowers. And all of them are going to represent everything in your life. All of these plants and beautiful things are your friends, your family, your circumstances, your situations, just everything in your life, your job, your career, but all of the people in your life. And this water from this waterfall, this beautiful light-filled waterfall, is going to go over gently in the perfect places and water and feed these plants, and they're going to start growing. And the sunlight of your awareness, which you are also the sun, is going to have these come up in the most beautiful way. So you can do a couple things here. You can see the actual fruits of the plants come, or the flowers, or you can actually imagine your friends and family and loved ones, or the situations you would like to see come up from the ground. And this is what we're doing here. This isn't a very effective technique because what we're really doing as we tune our own frequency and our vibe is we're allowing things around us to express what they really are, which is perfect, which is amazing, which is authentic, which doesn't just mean harmonious all the time, but it means there's beauty in the dissonance and everyone is being their perfect version of themselves. And that's what we start to actually have happen in our life. If that sounds like something you don't want, don't use that technique, but that's the new one. So in your imagination, again, this is what you're doing. You're a waterfall, a loving, controlled waterfall. Make it look however you want. Blue, purple, light-filled. This is going to have a wonderful irrigation system from the waterfall that goes and feeds all of these seeds you've planted. Loving relationships, positive experiences, people, places, things. It doesn't matter. They're all going to be fed by this loving water. You could make it golden if you want. And that's it. Just keep doing that. Right. So now let's recap on some of these techniques. We have the waterfall technique. We have the mirror technique. We have the infinity mirror technique. We have the technique of creating a short 5-second scene in the liminal state between going to sleep and being asleep. We have revision, which is going back to a memory or a situation or a feeling and changing it. So we're really developing a lot of techniques and skills. We have the how did I do that? When did it happen? All of these skills you can cycle through. But if there's one that really has helped me, it's to remember that whatever is going on in your life, whatever, it's to your advantage. It's always to your advantage. If you remember that, you will be able to pull out of these gripping situations. A lot of what we're teaching ourselves here, since we're incredibly powerful creators, is how to manage and balance and kind of immunize ourselves from other people's emotions. When I say other people's, there are people on this planet, in this dimension of time, who just don't know better. They think that the way to get what they want is through fear and control. And that's an aspect of us, just to be clear, us individually. But if you really transcend this, you don't have to get caught up in other people's bullshit related to that. You're kind of just doing your thing and other people will catch on because it's just a better way of doing things. It's like if you've ever seen, like a group of kids together and one kid figures out how to like put a part of a puzzle together and the other kids are watching, they all kind of know how to do it. This works for animals too. Collectively, this information and wisdom seeps in to the collective, right? Collectively, it sleeps into great sentence, Noah. But that is really what happens. So just remember that the best thing you can do if you find yourself, clearly there is a theme here, and I don't think it's mine. It's got to be people listening to the podcast because I don't really here's the situations where I get caught up with other people when I'm driving. If someone's going too slow or, they're on my ass, if they're going too fast and they're tailgating me, those situations I used to react to very negatively. Now I just kind of let them show me what they're supposed to show me. Am I supposed to go a little slower because I'm going to be more on time when I get there? That happened this week. Am I supposed to pass this person because they're going way too slow? Am I supposed to brake check this person because they're being dangerous? Am I supposed to let all this shit go because it doesn't matter and I'm just going to get there at the perfect time like I said in the first time? Yeah. All of that shit's valid, but let these situations show you where you're supposed to be. Now, also, if you know you're always in the perfect spot, even if it's turbulent and uncomfortable sometimes, that's going to allow you to kind of maintain your knowingness throughout your life. And that's what we're looking for here. Like, I want to be very clear. Remembering who you are isn't the end game. It's the beginning, right? Once you really understand that, you get to do what you want to do and you get to do it in the way you want to do it. And you're allowed to. Like, you're really, really allowed to do that. I want to be very clear. Everyone, you've put yourself here for a very specific reason. Kind of the game that you're playing is trying to uncover what that reason is. And we do this over the course of many lives, it feels like. But it's the same life. It's this life. You as you lay out this path. And as you lay out this path of shit that you do, when you come back, if that's your game, it gets easier and easier to uncover. You pull this thread and it opens up this whole world and you go, oh my God, everything just magically locked into place. That's so weird. That's available to everyone because as we move through timelines and dimensions, we get to home in on the one that's going to feel the best for us. And that's, as best as I can tell, that's what everyone's trying to do. They're just trying to feel like themselves again. And there's weird shit going on. This 3D world is merging with these other higher dimensional realities. We're seeing kind of narratives and rules and laws crack apart and people are kind of freaking out. But I can tell you that the thing that holds this all together is our ability to know that our feelings and emotions and beliefs are the only creative force. Our imagination is quite literally the god of scripture. Scripture is running out a script, right? It is a holy script being run out. Set yours with your imagination. Set the movie. You can even set parts of the script. I'm sure you can set the entire script. It would just be super lame and not fun. But you can set elements of it. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to try anything with your imagination either. Like that's a fear in and of itself. Where is the power? What point do you want to jump off with this stuff? There's no reason to do that. It's fine. Just test it. Test what makes you feel comfortable. Test what makes you feel uncomfortable. But like use this lovingly and you're good to go. Like that's quite literally the only ethical framework you need is the golden rule, and use it lovingly. Last thing we'll talk about in relation to other people, since this is an other people episode. Okay. I guess for some reason. Look, and I think it's going to be actually a little less than normal, which is exactly what I was aiming for. Okay. Here's when you're alone. Speaking of solitude, I wanted to speak of solitude. When you find yourself alone, you're basically flying a jet, right? You can do all these aerial tricks. You can do anything you want. And I don't mean in relation. I just mean when you're physically alone, you can maneuver this shit, your consciousness, however you want. You can make it a spaceship. You can go into space. You can live in space, interdimensionally travel. But when you're around other people and you're kind of holding the vibe, your imagination is strong. Think of it like a passenger plane, okay? You don't want to make any barrel rolls, right? You don't want to go too fucking crazy. And that means energetically keep your shit together. A lot of people have very powerful presences. They've accomplished a lot. They know how to kind of bend their reality, but that puts a lot on energetically sensitive people as well. So try to figure out how to modulate your energy. Try to figure out if you're around other people recognize you're maybe flying a plane with other people in it, like a passenger plane, rather than a jet that you want to do all these crazy fucking stunts in. That's important because I notice very powerful, energetic people don't have this ability to kind of like tone it down. I think that's one of my skills. I mean, I know it is that I've been the person who can't tone it down. I've been the person who toned it down too much. And then being able to kind of change that dial or turn that dial or knob where it is supposed to go based on where I am, that's a really important thing. And then finally, just love I am, right? Love I am. I am is you. It's the deepest aspect of you. Just love that. Love that you have this capacity to create reality and bend reality. If this frightens you, if it sounds wrong, just investigate it. I can't say anything else. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I mean, I am on some level just trying to let people know that they have control and that their lives can be what they want them to be, but just test this shit. Anyone's giving you any pushback on it, don't tell them. Just test it yourself and prove it to yourself. That's really what this is all about. It's less about anything else than just showing you that you are running this whole thing. This is your dream. It's no one else's dream. It's yours. You can give up that power, right? It's like a kid. I'm noticing this with my children. Like their subjective, your and other people's subjective impressions of children are readily accepted by most of them. Not all of them, but they're readily accepted. And that's because they're open to other people's ideas of them. But when you start creating and crafting your idea of yourself, if that's rigid, if it's closed off, if it's not open to new ideas and twists and turns, you're cutting yourself off from an entire range of experiences. If your logical mind comes in and says, no, it can't be like that. That's not how it is. I need scientific evidence. It's like, okay, cool. Like then you're going to have to wait a very long time because most of the stuff about the nature of reality is not accessed through our primary five senses. One of the joys of this linear timeline is we're going to be mapping out a lot of other senses that aren't based in physical reality, but rather the relationship between feeling and perceiving them. And that's going on. I know people who are doing this. It has a lot to do with sound, has a lot to do with music and awareness. Shit's happening. So that's it. Also, remember to exercise. If like you have excess energy and need to get it out, grounding is great sometimes. Also, just like getting out and moving your fucking body is wonderful. I'm going to take my own advice on that after I record this and go for a nice long jog. Listen to music, listen to Ween. Synchronicity playlists are on Spotify. You can find them. There are 34 is coming out soon. There's been 33 of them. Here's the thing with Patreon. We're going to be ramping it up. I'm scrapping the 2 levels, the annual and the $1. We're going to be unveiling some other ones. My new friend, Kath, is going to be helping me out with this stuff. There's going to be more shit on the Patreon, right? I'm now actually learning to gate content, not because I'm an asshole, just because that's how you're supposed to do it. If I'm fucking putting out a bunch of live streams, Instagram posts, readings, all these things for free, I'm not really incentivizing people who want a deeper connection. Also, I want the community of people who are willing to pay, whether it's $5 a month, 10, 13, whatever it is, 20. I want there to be kind of that willingness. Like I go a little bit deeper on Patreon. I talk about things that I don't publicly talk about because I assume the people who are paying for it want to hear it. If you guys knew the amount of feedback and comments I got on Instagram and all of these places, like you'd understand why I'm starting to gate certain shit. Not that anything is bad or gnarly, but it's not tenable over time. One of the coolest things about my audience, you guys, you specifically, is my podcast is not the most popular right now. I know people with much more popularity than me, but my audience's engagement, how much they give a fuck, how much they're trying these techniques and are changing their lives. I've never witnessed anything like that. I've worked for people who have sold millions and millions of books and audio things and have mass consciousness aspect. And I ran their inbound stuff. And the shit that you guys are doing, like, I don't even want to, it's not a competition, but holy fucking shit. So I'm looking forward to this continuing to grow. The email list is probably the best way to stay up to date on everything that's going on right now, but also Instagram and Twitter. I'm just plugging my shit. That's all. And that's it. I cannot believe I kept this under fucking 40 minutes, at least in talking time. I'm sure with the fucking songs, it's going to be right in my regular spot of like 44. But this has been like, we're evening out, guys. Mercury retrograde is over, I believe, on the 15th or 16th of March. Just coast coast. Recognize all of these things that are coming up are opportunities. You have the ability to transcend them, whether you're hacking money, relationships, love, all this stuff. Just keep at it. You're good. And then also just please, 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 please learn to relax. Let it go. Chill out. Go to McDonald's. Fuck other people. Do whatever I mean, fuck other people. Like, don't feel compelled to do anything for another person. That's not going to lead to anyone's happiness, even if it feels like it is. I don't even really like the term compromise. It's just bad. Just, yes, you can do things for other people, but like lovingly and when you need to. Otherwise, it will lead to resentment. So just learn to relax. Do what you want to do because you're meant to do it. Be in the positions you're meant to be. Don't let other people or society dictate what you're supposed to be doing. Stop blaming other people. I think that's the theme of this fucking, a little preachy on this episode, huh? But I'm assuming people need to hear it. This is the shit that I need to hear as much as anyone else. So yeah, that's it. You're remembering. You're not waking up. You're remembering. That's all. Okay. Lots of love. I will see you with a guest this coming week. Stay tuned. It's a good one. All right. Bye-bye.